So today we're going to go over essentially, is the SpaceX IPO investable? Is it investable for you? I'm going to go into and share my what I like about it and what I don't like from an investor standpoint. This isn't to be essentially condemn the company because obviously the company is doing extremely well. They do have delivered on what it is that they promised. Their revenue numbers, and they're still running it for quite a heavy burn. In my view, the valuation is problematic. But yeah, I'll get into what it is that's good about it and what I think is a negative about it. So essentially going public, expected to go public in the next month, expected to go public up to 2 trillion. Looking to sell $100 billion worth of shares, and essentially their revenue is growing, but this is the meat of the issue is that they have 10 million Starlink subscribers and that can scale quite well. Starlink is a piece of the control structure in a way that if you can control which countries and which users get internet access into the future, digital IDs become more of a thing. There's more suppression. There's more, essentially taking people offline. There's more censorship, right? And you control a platform where you can choose to censor countries or you can not. That's his idea. If there's a coup in a country, if there's a war in a country, if there's, a campaign where, I don't know, Belarus or something like that might have an uprising locally, and then their citizens want internet access, he can decide whether they get it or not. That's incredibly valuable. It's incredibly valuable because he can decide Iran, there's a war. The leadership want to cut the internet access off. He can decide to grant internet access to the people, and he can also do not decide not to. Makes him a very powerful piece. X is another. X is another. Yeah, it's a data collection platform in my view, under the disguise of having free speech, but it still creates a very valuable position. The best thing about Musk and why he's not the greatest of all time in the entrepreneurial space, but he's certainly close. He doesn't think in terms of I'm just launching a company because I want to make money. Making money is the product of power. He thinks, how do I become more powerful? How do I build a company that the government is going to have to kind of work alongside? That's the power because they can't really stop it, and that's what gives him essentially powerful positions because then you can get government contracts, government leans on you to be like, delete this off X, remove this. It gives him where they have to come back to him. It kind of makes him quite safe in that sort of regard. It's very hard to replace. It's not just that, it's autonomous cars via Tesla. We want to be able to kill switch cars. It's so much power. It's really hard to even imagine how someone like that thinks of all of this stuff. The bear case, running at loss, 87x of revenue and him holding 85%. No public comparisons, so there's no competitors, which is not really a good thing. In my view, and then no 6 month lockup period as usual post IPO. There's usually a 6 month lockup period on these shares, and there's not, right? So it seems that they want to get liquid quickly. I believe 100 billion they'll sell. If they can get 100 billion out at, 2 trillion, I think they'll be quite happy. I would be interested looking at this at like 600 billion, 800 billion. I know people will be like, well, you'll never get in, and we'll have to see. You might want to see that a lot of IPOs actually do crash 80% in the, 1 to 2 years following. But yeah, for me, it's uninvestable, and not because he's not an innovator, but also it's very tied to the man. If something happens to him, and it's not something that I'm wishing it to happen, but it's very reliant on his futuristic thinking. So I don't know what would really be left of the company, essentially, if something were to happen to him. So in my view, uninvestable, but very interesting technology, very forward thinking, and he's a genius in his own lane. He's no Nikola Tesla, but he's the Nikola Tesla if Nikola Tesla was in fact a very good marketer. Till next time.